we have the 27, the EU together, saying that they will be spending more on defense. And yesterday, the leaders said they gave their green light to the latest measures announced by the Commission earlier this week. So the ball now is in the court of the finance ministers. They will be meeting here again on Monday and on Tuesday to start those technical works to develop all of those measures announced by the Commission earlier this week. And that, of course, includes 150 billion euros in loans that the member states will be able to use so they can spend more on defense. That's a positive. And that is indeed, as von der Leyen said there, historic. The EU, for its whole history, has been focused on creating peace. This is a moment where, for the first time in many years, we're hearing them talking seriously about stepping up defense spending. Now, separate from that, the other topic on the agenda for the leaders yesterday was further support for Ukraine. They were discussing how they can provide security guarantees to Ukraine in a moment when they actually can sit down and eventually discuss peace negotiations too. The problem there was that Hungary was against saying any sort of new words that would mean support for Ukraine. Yesterday I had access to a letter that the Prime Minister of Hungary sent to the President of the European Council, Antonio Costa, where he highlighted why he does not believe this is the right approach. In the words of Viktor Orban, he said that the European Union should follow the example of the United States and actually enter direct discussions with Russia in order to guarantee a ceasefire. But of course, the other 26 members of the EU disagree with that language, and so they, to some extent, ignored Viktor Orban, and they came up with their own communiqué in where he highlighted support for Ukraine. Ahead of the meeting, we have a chance to hear from the President of Ukraine himself. He came to this meeting. Here are the words of President Zelensky thanking the EU leaders for their support.
I want to thank all our European leaders, first of all, and for such signal, strong support. Discuss on strong support from the very beginning of the war, and what's been during all this period and last week. You stay with us, and of course from all the Ukrainians, from all our nations, big appreciation. We are very thankful that we are not alone, and these are not just words, we feel it. It's very important. You made a strong signal to Ukrainian people, to Ukrainian warriors, to civilians, to all our families, and it's great that we are not alone. We feel it and we know it. Thank you so much for everything, and signals to increase our production, and signals to, with the new program, to increase the European security. That's, I think, the great decisions.
But let's take a step back and look at all of the events that we have witnessed this week. We also heard from the French President, Emmanuel Macron, saying earlier this week that he was actually willing to use French nuclear weapons to protect the continent. So I asked a couple of leaders yesterday how they felt about Macron's suggestions.
It's a very interesting idea. Nuclear umbrella would serve as really very serious deterrence towards Russia. And it is very important to use this opportunity, all opportunities to increase our resilience, and especially in the eastern flank, because eastern flank is exposed to different kind of threats, and this is my idea, to focus more on the eastern flank, because we are exposed to hybrid attacks, we are exposed to the sabotage of critical infrastructure, illegal migration and other threats. And you know that sometimes it's not so easy to have the common border with aggressive states like Belarus or Russian Federation. But we do our best, and we need the assistance of our partners.
We have not decided about that, and it just happened that there has been an announcement from President Macron, and it needs time to decide, and probably to have some discussions in our country as well, because it's something new. But we see as an opportunity to discuss, but it's really too soon to give some real answers to that question.
So when it comes to the plan and the ideas of the French president, that is still too early, in the words of those leaders, to assess and how they are likely to do that or not. But Karen, the big takeaway at this stage is that this is no doubt a historic moment for the EU. We are no doubt starting a new chapter in European politics.